Hello there and welcome once again to It's a Mystery, the show that tries to solve those unbelievable mysteries that baffle us all.
Once again, Gail and I will be tracking down some incredible stories.
And in the studio, we'll be attempting to solve some weird and wonderful cases.
In today's show, the 1 in a million reason for a plane's emergency landing.
Do you believe in superstitions? We try to unravel the mysteries behind them.
And we exclusively reveal the culprit who left a trail of green slime across a busy English village.
You know, they say that flying is the safest form of travel. So here's a mystery for you. Why did a plane on a normal flight suddenly have to make an emergency landing? And watch out for this one, because it has a most surprising outcome.
Picture this. Flight 411 is flying high and everything is going according to plan.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are flying at 35,000 feet and our speed over the ground is about 600 miles per hour. Our flight time is 3 hours. In the meantime, sit back, relax and enjoy the flight. Thank you for flying with us.
Looks like it's going to be an easy flight. The weather reports come through and it's clear all the way.
Thanks, Ernie.
As with any routine flight, the captain switched to autopilot. Things were right on track. As the stewardess tidied up, she became aware of a strange smell coming from a storage compartment, and she bent down to check what it was. Suspicious and nervous, she went to report the discovery.
Captain, we've got a problem. We've just found 2 suspicious packages which have obviously been secretly hidden away. There seems to be a strange smell surrounding the area. What shall I do?
Make sure that all the passengers are seated, but don't let them get excited. Don't worry, Mandy, we'll sort everything out up here.
Thanks, Captain.
Ernie, seatbelt, no smoking signs.
So what could these mysterious packages be then? Well, let's examine the facts. First of all, we know that they were secretly hidden away. We also know that they had a mysterious smell surrounding them. Could this smell have been a build-up of toxic gas which was set to explode at any time? Well, whatever the packages were, they were either going to explode or force Flight 411 to make an emergency landing.
Worrying about the mysterious hidden packages, Mandy checked that the passengers had obeyed the seatbelt signs and wondered just what the captain would do.
We haven't got many options. We could continue the flight and risk everybody's lives, or we could make an emergency landing. Either way, we've got to decide now. Time's running out.
What were they going to do? This routine flight had turned into a potential disaster. Now, if they continued with the perilous journey, would they make it in time? One thing's for certain, they only had a matter of minutes to find a runway close enough.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Flight 411. We have a suspected bomb on board. Request return and emergency landing.
Air traffic control responded to their appeal for help.
Heading 330, Flight 411.
The pilots knew that the passengers' lives were in their hands. A heavy landing could have inadvertently set off the packages.
Ladies and gentlemen, continue to observe these no smoking and seatbelt signs. We have a small problem and are returning to land.
Back in the cabin, the passengers were uneasy about the change of plan. The pilots just concentrated on making a safe landing.
Tower, Flight 411, we're down.
Within seconds, bomb disposal experts were at the scene to deal with the suspicious package.
So thanks to the heroic action of the quick-witted pilots, 200 lives were saved and the packages were blown up safely. A disaster had been averted. And then they discovered what was in them. It turns out that after the packages had been blown up, experts examined the debris and discovered that the bags contained nothing more than one of these, a dirty, smelly nappy. Now look, don't worry, this sort of incident was reported to have happened in 1986. And of course, this type of thing doesn't happen every day. Airlines have strict security guidelines. But talk about causing a big stink. I'm not. No. It's a mystery why some people are superstitious.
I don't reckon I am.
You don't reckon you're superstitious?
Nope.
Okay, see that ladder over there?
Yeah.
Go and walk under it then.
No problemo.
Yeah? Go on then.
Go on, Tristan. You can do it.
Actually, no, I don't think I will. I just don't feel like it.
Yeah. You say, told you.
Well, I tell you, I am superstitious. And if I see a penny, I always bend down and pick it up for good luck.
No, that's because you're stingy.
I am not. Cheeky.
But seriously though, where do superstitions come from and what are they all about? I mean, who was it that decided that horseshoes are lucky?
Well, who told you about it?
Oh, I don't know, I think it was me mum or me dad. In fact, we kept one of these on our windowsill for good luck in the house.
Giddy up. That's exactly how most people pick up superstitions. Over the centuries, they're passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth.
Actually, give me that horseshoe here. Now, the reason that horseshoes were considered to be lucky is that they're made of iron, and that was once considered sacred.
OK, here's another one for you.
Neil, what are you doing?
Well, I'm trying not to step on the cracks in the pavement because it's considered unlucky.
How can that be bad luck? People do it every day.
Well, the explanation for this one is a little bit gruesome. You see, in the past, people thought that the cracks in pavements looked like those in the stones of old burial sites or gravestones. Oh. Now, they thought that stepping on pavement cracks was unlucky because it was a bit like stepping on gravestones.
Did you feel that? It's got rain. Did you feel that rain?
Put this up.
No.
I hate that. Right, let's get inside. Come on.
Come on. See, he's off with the brolly.
Looks after himself.
Thanks, Neil. Well, at least it looks like it's not going to last. Oh, touch wood.
You guys have only been inside for 2 seconds and already one of you has quoted a superstition and the other one's broken one.
Well, I know that I said touch wood, and people often say touch wood when they want something to come true. Now that is because in the past people used to pray to trees hoping that it'd bring them a good harvest. They thought the trees would help their wishes to come true. So nowadays we still associate wood with good luck. So we touch wood to make sure that wishes will come true.
Yeah. And I've left my brolly open indoors. Now that's bad luck because umbrellas were originally used as sunshades, and to open them inside or in the shade was said to be an insult to the sun god.
There are loads of superstitions. In fact, life would become quite a problem if we took them all seriously.
Oh, will you look at that? I've just knocked over the salt. Now,
clumsy.
Have you ever noticed that people often throw a pinch of salt over their left shoulder if they spill it?
Well, that's because salt was very precious, and to spill or waste it was like throwing money away. It was thought the only way to prevent bad luck coming your way was to throw a pinch of salt over your left shoulder.
So there you go. Superstitions are in fact little more than old-fashioned rules on how to live life and how to do things in a certain way so that your luck will stay.
But it's entirely up to you whether you believe it or not. What do you reckon? Do you believe in little green men? Well, it's a mystery what was found lurking one day in the countryside. Now, here's a very weird story. Just see if you can work out exactly what on earth is going on.
Kate Hurd was whiling away a lazy afternoon with her daughter Lucy. It was the half-term holidays and they decided to make the most of the nice weather by having a picnic in the park. They found a shady spot and started unravelling all the goodies from the hamper. Then, all of a sudden, they heard a rustling coming from the nearby bushes.
Did you hear that? It's Coming from over there, I think. What on earth is it?
It could be a wounded animal, I suppose, or a bird.
You stay there, I'll go and have a look.
Be careful, Lucy.
Lucy approached the bushes, being careful not to make any noise for fear of disturbing whatever lay in the undergrowth. What she saw, however, was something that she wouldn't forget in a hurry.
Oh my goodness, Mum, quick, come look at this!
I don't believe it. It's like something from another planet.
Both mother and daughter watched as the green creature scurried off into the distance. A little while later, in another part of the same village, Ellen Jones and Lou Fowler were making their way to the bus stop, excitedly discussing their shopping trip. Suddenly, Ellen stopped in her tracks.
Oh no, I think I've just stepped in something.
Well, take your shoe off and give it a good scrape. You're so clumsy.
Oh, it's all green and gooey. Ugh.
Something seems to be dripping slime.
What on earth is that?
The woman peered into the distance and saw the peculiar green figure dashing into the trees. Meanwhile, the police station was buzzing with more sightings of the strange creature.
Hello, police station. How may I help you?
What a weird story. So what do you think the creature was that the villagers saw? Could it have been one of the actors still in costume from the local theatre? Or maybe it was an escapee from the local Keep Fit class dressed in a green leotard? Well, whatever it was, why on earth was it dripping in green slime? Well, you know, there's an earlier part to this story which might shed some light on this particular mystery.
Mick Dialing was busy at the back of his house painting the trellis around the French windows. As he was painting, he heard a strange noise coming from inside the house.
Hello? Is there anybody there?
Suddenly, he got the shock of his life. An intruder appeared. Mick tried desperately to think of a way of stopping him.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Dripping with green paint, the man escaped, leaving Mick very relieved.
So there you have it, the solution to the riddle of the strange green creature. Now the intruder, who'd been covered in green paint, was in fact spotted by several people in the village. But it wasn't too difficult to finally track him down. The police simply followed the clues, like splashes of green paint and the trails of footprints, until they eventually got their man.
Hello, my name is Katie Louise Raban. Last August I had something unusual living in my bedroom. One day I came home, I noticed that something had changed in my room. At first I couldn't think what was different, and then I noticed that some wires had been moved. A few days later something even weirder had happened. I saw that there were 2 eggs in the middle of the wires. I've never seen eggs like that. They're smaller than chicken eggs. I couldn't work out how the eggs had got there. None of my family knew either.
Extraordinary. But seriously, what on earth was going on? I mean, eggs don't just appear from nowhere in the middle of some wires. Was someone playing a practical joke on Katie? Or was there another explanation? Well, here's what Katie noticed next when she went back into her bedroom.
I had left the window open, and it's lucky that I did. I went back to what I had been doing, and suddenly I heard a strange rustling noise. I looked round and saw a pigeon on my windowsill. It hopped through the window and landed on the floor. It didn't seem to mind that I was there. It walked towards the eggs and sat down on them. I realised that it had made its nest in the wires. I never heard of a pigeon nesting in a bedroom before. I wonder if it knows I like animals. The eggs have hatched now and the 2 baby pigeons are doing really well.
Nice one. The eggs had been left by a friendly pigeon that had made its nest in Katie's bedroom. Now, the story was so unusual that she even ended up in the local papers. So we contacted the RSPB, the Royal Society for Protection of Birds, to see if they've ever come across a similar story. And they said that this is very unusual behaviour for wild birds. However, they added that pigeons who live in large cities are used to human company, and this might have affected its natural instincts. So what's happened to the birds now?
The baby pigeons are now growing fast. They'll soon be able to fly in the sky with their mother. I'll certainly miss them.
It's a mystery to me what we can't see.
Yeah, there are loads of things around us that are so tiny we can't really see them.
Well, if you do want to see something close up, you can always use one of these, a magnifying glass. Now that is my eye magnified about 2 times.
But imagine how different things would look if you could see them really close up.
Okay, so let's take this delicious piece of mouldy bread, for example. Now, what would that look like closer up?
It's my lunch.
Now, what does it look like even closer still?
Oh, look at that!
It's weird, isn't it? And that's as close as we can go with our cameras.
But if you want to take an even closer look, you could use one of these things, a microscope. Now, a really powerful microscope can magnify things hundreds of times, and that means you can see things that you can't normally see with your naked eye.
Okay, so what would this mouldy bread look like under a microscope? Let's check it out. Slide it in there. Oh, wow. It looks like mouldy spaghetti or live spaghetti or something.
Well, it's not spaghetti. In fact, this is actually a model of what a piece of mouldy bread would look like if it was magnified 100 times. Now, just look closely at it. This is the bread down here, and these stringy branch-type things emerging from the bread are actually the mould.
Oh, man. Isn't that amazing that we can't actually see this stuff usually?
Okay, here's a model of something that's magnified so it's a lot bigger than it would normally be. What do you reckon it is, guys?
Some sort of seafood, like a crab relations.
Yeah, you get them in fancy restaurants swimming around in tanks.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't coming out for dinner with you guys if you're going to get me one of these. Thank you very much. Billions of these actually live all over the world. It's a tiny, one-eyed creature called a cyclops that swims around in fresh water like lakes and ponds using these things here. To tell you the truth, this would normally only be the size of 2 grains of sugar.
God, 2 grains of sugar.
I've got another one for you. What do you think these are?
Oh, they look like those things that were in Toy Story, you know, with the head and the mechanical legs.
They're actually a kind of germ called a virus. Now, viruses drift around in air and water, and sometimes they're completely harmless, but others are what cause illnesses like flu. Now, in real life, viruses like these are so tiny that if you laid 5,000 of them end to end, they would only just reach across a full stop.
Wow.
5,000?
5,000.
Wow.
Okay, here's one for you. Come over here, look at this. Now look at this. What do you reckon this little monster is?
It's not very little, is it?
No,
it looks like a lobster
or
thing.
a massive orange spider.
Well, actually, it's a velvet mite. It's a minute relation of spiders. Now, have you ever looked very closely at a wall on a sunny day and seen tiny dots sort of running around all over it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, under a microscope, they look like this little chap. Wow. Cute, eh? And these little mites use their front legs to feel for food in the cracks in walls, eating animals even smaller than it, as well as things like insect eggs and stuff.
So there you go. We've solved the mystery of what some things you can't normally see look like when they're close up.
But the next time you look around you, think about all the millions of things that are out there that can't be seen with your naked eye.
Well, that's it. A few more of life's mysteries solved.
But here's one final mystery for you to try and solve. A girl hammered a nail into a tree to mark how tall she was. 20 years later, she returned to see how much higher the nail was.
Now, if the tree grew 5 centimetres a year, how much higher would the nail be?
Can you work it out? We'll reveal the answer next time. I reckon it was...
Last week's final mystery was how could a woman drop an egg 2 whole metres without breaking the shell? Now the answer is the woman was holding the egg higher than 2 metres when she dropped it, so as it fell for the first 2 metres, it didn't break.